Good evening to our audience and a very special warm welcome to our distinguished guest, Mr. Sabyasachi Mukhopadhyay. Mr. Sabyasachi Mukhopadhyay is currently a PhD research scholar at IIT Kharagpur. He is also a Google developer expert and a very prominent figure for the high program of IIT Kharagpur. Mr. Mukhopadhyay, can you please give us a brief introduction about yourself?
Well, thank you very much for inviting me here. Like you mentioned, that I'm a PhD research scholar from Center for Computational and Data Sciences at IIT Kharagpur. And besides, also I am taking care of the upskilling activities at AI for ICPS Hub as an upskilling program manager and a teaching assistant. And also I am taking care of the community tech leadership responsibility of Google, like the community position name is Google Developer Expert in AI and Google Cloud. Actually, it has been renamed earlier. It was machine learning, but they have renamed it as AI, and also in the Google Cloud track.
Great. So, the first question that would come to everyone's mind is how do you manage these multiple roles? And what are the insight from one role that help you in other role as well?
Okay, very interesting question. It's all about your passion about the technology. So basically, you may be aware, quite aware that I work in the AI field. Okay, so I basically explore AI in the healthcare domain for the early disease detection purpose, and also my responsibility in Google as a tech community leader, like Google developer expert in AI and Google Cloud. So it is also relevant to AI technologies and Google, whatever they are coming up with the new version, or whether they are coming up with the new version of the TensorFlow or for example the new version of the Gemini. So they basically came to us as a feedback for example beta testing purpose. So we gave our feedback. So it's a continuously being updated about the AI products. So we are very much in our aligned domain. So it becomes very much easier for us to adjust those responsibilities, and along with that, obviously, as it is the AI for ICPS hub and AI related upskillings are going on. So while I am teaching, it is also I am remaining in the AI environment, and also doing the other responsibilities like program management and business development related to AI. It requires a lot of passion and a lot of time management kind of stuff. But anyway, I'm enjoying it so far. So let's see.
Okay, so you mentioned that since you are passionate about technology and you are enjoying it, so it is easier to handle all those multiple roles. So your journey started as a BTech in Electronics and Communication Engineering. Then you did your masters from IIT Kolkata in Physical Sciences, and now you are doing your research in the field of artificial intelligence and explainable AI. What is the problem that you figured, or why did you change your domain?
Okay, so like I mentioned that I'm enjoying my present role in AI domain. When I started my research during my BTech, actually, I used to explore the signal processing and image processing tools for solving different problems like weather forecasting and other stuff. But when I moved to IIT Kolkata, actually, I started from there. I started to exploring healthcare domain. Yes, at that period of time, we used to do a lot of interesting biophotonics experiments. Okay, and then we used to apply the different wavelet-based tools or multifactorial dependent fluctuation analysis for this type of the early diagnosis purpose. But then gradually, during my final year, we realized that we needed strong classifier to classify those healthy precancerous tissues. So that's how I started reading on the machine learning, and gradually I had, because of my engineering background, I had a satisfactory programming understanding. So I gradually explored more on programming and also understood about Python programming and other stuff. So gradually my machine learning knowledge enriched, and obviously our research papers on machine learning started publishing, and then I also expand my knowledge that how we can apply and develop the web applications or Android applications. Okay, so I started doing my collaborative research, and I figured out that yes, it has the strong potential of generating the real-time prediction of the diseases as well as corresponding explanation generation. So this is how the things has evolved so far.
Okay, so you mentioned that you are there in the field of AI. Start from while you were doing BTech in Electronics and Communication.
Not related to BTech, but you know that while exploring in engineering angle, if you are planning to start your journey in AI, it will be good that if you have the adequate knowledge on the signal processing as well as the image processing, computer vision kind of stuff, algebra. So it helped us
Okay.
to easily grab those concepts of the machine learning. So when I started exploring in machine learning, so I got the benefit of having those backgrounds.
Okay.
So it helped me a lot, and like I told you that whatever the AI I have explored, it is for the sake of research. Okay. it helped me a lot in research, and just to solve certain problems, like I mentioned, that to have the better accuracy in terms of the early stage detection, like for example whether it's cervical cancer or other relevant stuffs. So it actually helped me a lot. So for that purpose, even explainable AI also, and I explored in explainable AI after coming to IIT Kharagpur.
Okay.
Okay.
So your research project is in explainable AI and healthcare analytics. So what inspired you to do your research project specifically in this thing?
Absolutely. I mentioned that my journey started in healthcare domain from ISF Kolkata during my masters. But at that period of time, we were mostly working as an experimentalist, as you can say, because there is one very prominent lab in biophotonics by Professor Nirmal Ghosh. So they basically at that period of time explored a lot in the biophotonics area. Okay, so we used to do a lot of interesting experiments on the DIC microscopy or the backscattering spectroscopy. So in those cases, we used to capture the DIC images or the spectroscopic data sets, spectroscopic data for the healthy and the other precancerous tissues. Okay, so what we have gradually explored that although we are doing certain level of the data analysis, but you know that you need to learn a lot of elegant tools and techniques in terms of producing the high scale accuracy. Okay. So because of that reason, I gradually moved into the health analytics, and like I mentioned earlier that I started my AI journey also for that. Okay, and then explainable AI, like I mentioned that although after going to the industry also I have seen, and during my teaching period I also have seen that whenever we are applying, it's not only in the healthcare domain, but whether we are applying this kind of AI tools, machine learning tools and techniques and deep learning tools and techniques, we are only doing the classification, but we are not generating any relevant explanations which can actually deal with this black box nature of AI.
Okay.
Okay. So in the present era, okay, although there are many interesting techniques in explainable AI domain like the SHAP, LIME, etc. But present era is the explainable 2.0 era where we can actually take the benefit of LLM kind of stuff and develop the language and modify the language model and can come up with a patient-friendly explanation. So that is what actually I realized during my literature survey in the healthcare domain after coming to IIT Kharagpur and completing my coursework at around 2023. So we collaboratively worked in the mental health detection project. So it was my first exploration in explainable in the healthcare. So we got one publication in Journal of Biomedical Health Informatics. So it gave us a lot of confidence. Okay. So then I realized, and I interacted with my co-authors also, and I realized that, okay, why not to apply that particular stuff in case of the early stage cervical cancer detection purpose. So we gradually worked on that, and thanks to the Almighty and our efforts of our research team, so we got a couple of publications in IEEE Transactions on AI and IEEE Computational Social Systems, and we're being able to develop web apps successfully. Okay, so there is one particular framework. For example, I'm just taking one example. For example, service spectra track. So here basically we have the spectroscopic data of the healthy and precancerous region, and this particular framework has two parts. One is the service spectra YOLO. There we basically modified the YOLO version 10. Okay, and then we came up with the service spectra YOLO for the classification purpose. So one part is doing the classification, and the other part is the service spectra LangChain. So it is basically, we have modified the existing LangChain model for the patient-friendly explanation generation. So in this way, we are gradually working. We have explored in the image analysis also, and for the multimodal data analysis purpose. And hopefully that we can, in the near future, we can come up with a much more robust web and Android application, both for the, not only for the disease detection, but also for the patient-friendly explanation generation, so that the patients may remain benefited.
You mentioned that you have published in IEEE journals, and these are very high impactful journals. When you write a particular paper, then how do you choose a particular conference or particular journal?
But in terms of the publication angle, I'm talking about that gradually once you are going towards the PhD or becoming PhD student, so in your careeristic angle and maintaining the quality, it is always better to go for the A-star or A-rank type of conferences. Okay. So for example, in machine learning, deep learning kind of stuff, for example, there are top conferences, A-star rank conferences like CVPI, okay, or for example, ICLR, they all belongs to that type of the highly category conferences. Okay. So if you can crack paper there, it is a highly prestigious. And apart from that, journal is one of the utmost important thing. Being BTech student, if you are publishing a conference paper, everybody will upload you, but gradually once you move towards the PhD journey, So it is always better to have some quality publications in your bag, especially if, for example, those who are from the E&EC background, or actually domain-wise it varies. So in electrical engineering background or computer science background, they basically focus on the IEEE transaction journals. For example, people from the physics background, they focus on the physical review journals. So domain-wise it varies. So you have to check out that what are the prominent journals in your domain. Okay, and then gradually target to adjust your research mission vision with the journal's research mission and vision, because sometimes it may happen that your work is a very high quality, but whenever you are applying, you are submitting paper in those journals, because of it is not coming under the scope of the journal, you might face the desk rejection. So that's why you have to see and align your research problems solving approach with the journal's mission and vision. See if it matches, then there is a healthy chance that you may crack in those journals.
You have been part of the IIT Kharagpur life family from the past 3 years. What is difference between the life here and the life that you did during your BTech journey?
So throughout my overall, after 10 plus 2 level, I completely spent my life in hostel. Okay, but in IIT Kharagpur, what happens that it's a huge institute, you see, and there are a lot of activities. It's not only about the academic activities, but as you can see, sports facilities, or for example, other recreational activities, like you guys are doing very tremendously great stuff related to this kind of the branding activities. So you have a 360 explorations which is possible in IIT Kharagpur. In our time, ISARs are also gradually developing. It also comes under the Ministry of Education. But gradually, I feel that nowadays ISAR students get much more benefit than what we have in our time. Okay. So thankfully, I had throughout my journey from the BTech to PhD, I was the integral part of the hostel life, and I got the opportunity, not all the time directly, but also I have seen my friends to explore the different recreational activities, and they have done great in their life. So that's how life goes.
Great. So you are the Upskilling Program Manager for the High Program of IIT Kharagpur, and you have managed multiple cohorts. What is the main challenge that you face while upskilling a mid-career professionals?
Okay, very interesting question. Actually, it's not only about the mid-career professionals. You see, for example, those who have studied in earlier 3 cohorts in high, because there are a healthy amount of the students from IIT Kharagpur as well, those who have pursued these high cohorts. So there are several categories. So our objective was to start in a very lucid manner. Okay, so that those who don't have the programming concepts, who don't know the programming concepts, they also can gain the basic aspects of the Python programming. So that's how we have started, by giving them simple machine learning problems and encourage them of solving them. Okay, once they are getting the confidence gradually, we started to explore to give them certain complex deep learning programming assignments and all those things. But obviously, we have covered those things during our practical classes, and then we have given those things to the participants. But we have seen that the participants are actively submitting those assignments, whether it is a programming assignments or descriptive assignments. They're putting their strong efforts of excelling into it. And let me tell you, like you mentioned about the mid-career professionals, so you know that their life is not very easy, because they are spending hours in office, and during the weekend, they are regularly attending the courses, and then they are submitting the assignments. Okay, in a regular manner, appearing for the quizzes. Because of their encouragement, actually, we later figure out that let us do one advanced level of AI course. Let us launch one advanced level of AI course, which we have given the name High++. So recently we concluded that High++ cohort 1. So because there are important aspects which has evolved in last 2-3 years, post-COVID era in AI, it's not only about the machine learning, deep learning and coding. There are other important aspects, like for example, there are template-driven approaches. There are a lot of non-coding jobs in AI domain. Okay, so for example, agentic AI or your generative AI, or for example, the prompt engineering. Okay, so if you can learn them, you can easily grab the high salary jobs. So our partner TCS is giving the student that to appear for the 3 free interviews. Okay, if you gain a good score in the high program, you can easily appear for those 3 interviews. And I came to know that participants are gradually getting benefit out of it. So we thought that why not to give them that similar type of the opportunity in the advanced AI domain. Okay, so this is how we tried to go through the mind setup of the participants and also the industry requirements, and accordingly tried our level best to align the course materials as per the industry demand so that it can create the jobs in the market, and the participants, those who are doing this type of the courses, they remain beneficial.
It is great to know that we have an advanced version of the high, which is high plus
High
plus,
plus plus.
and it is the first cohort that has started.
That started in July, and
Okay.
we concluded it on 13th September.
Oh, great. So you have been a judge in various competition, one of them being the Hull Prize of NIT Durgapur, then IIT Kharagpur eCell's local startup meet, then NASA Space Challenge for apps, and others as well. So when you are judging a competition where the audience is pitching you an AI-driven solution, what is the main thing that you find that the young innovator is not doing or not expressing in their solution, and what is advice you would like to give them?
Earlier, what I have observed, that one important angle is the business generation angle.
Okay.
That they need to focus on. Sometimes they are coming up with very interesting solutions, but they are unaware of the certain rules or or the frictions on that particular domain. You can say, for example, I am telling this, referring this as friction, because you see, it is creating the problem to their solution approach. Because you might have seen that in India, the students are doing a lot of interesting projects in the drone technologies and all those things, but you know that this type of the rules basically varies from countries to country, states to state. So for example, in India, if you are not in a military, so if you know that other areas, if you have to explore the drones in certain aspects, you need to take a lot of permissions.
Yes.
Okay, so background knowledge is important. What you are doing, what are the present rules and regulations existing in the country, or state-wise, it also may vary. So you need to be aware of that. One
Yes.
thing. Another important thing is that what are the current limitations. So, for example, if we take another interesting example in the healthcare domain, like perhaps students have done a lot of interesting job. Now, the thing is that if I ask you that particular guy has developed one smartphone-based app for the skin cancer detection purpose, just for example, I am saying. Now, if the common question may come up that already biopsy is existing. So, what are the new thing you are onboarding? People may ask you. Okay, so in that case, the research gap is not only the important thing, but also need to understand what is the market gap and what are the problem which participants are facing. Here, the participants are the patients basically. So, what are the problem they are facing, and what is the present economic scenario? Okay. So, as per the, if I am not wrong, as per the 2020 to 2021 data, at that around data across the globe, there are 80% people under the bottom of pyramid category. That means they don't have enough money to pay tax. Now, for example, whenever you are coming up with such solutions, so it can create, if it is a low cost based solution, it can create mass level benefit.
Yes.
Now, if you are talking about the biopsy, okay, although biopsy is giving a very high accuracy, but it's an expensive
Yes.
process, and it takes 2 week time for coming up with that particular report, okay, and it's a painful approach. So if you can replace the biopsy with your smartphone based approach for the skin cancer, early stage skin cancer prediction purpose, so what it will do, it will, first of all, it is painless approach. Second one, if you make the charge them rupees 10 to 100 range for per scan, still it is thousands times cheaper than the biopsy. Okay, and the third thing is that you are generating the report within few minutes.
Okay.
So in this way, students or the participants have to show their impact. Okay, that these are my existing competitors, and our team is giving this type of the benefits which others are not. Okay. These are the research gap. These are the research gap we are solving, and these are the market gap which we are also filling up. Okay. So in this way, holistically, they can come up with a market ready products if they can think in this angle. Because if you talk about the Hull price which you have mentioned, or the eCell things, it's not only about coming up with the solution, but also it should have a business generation angle.
Yes.
So I try to cover all the aspects with that particular skin cancer based approach example. Okay, I hope now it is quite clear to you that students are very smart, but they can be a little bit smarter if they also do the market scrutiny and understand the limitations of the present practices in a much more better manner.
Okay. So you have given 2 TEDx talks, and then also you have written for Anand Bazar Patrika. Why do you think a person like you, who is deeply research oriented should also be a very good communicator or public speaker?
Okay, that's a very interesting question. So, like I mentioned, that you need to understand that whenever you are doing research or you are speaking in conferences or in workshops, you are basically, I'm talking in an engineering angle, okay, so
Okay.
try to understand that. So, when we are doing it, so what for purpose we are doing? Because our audience is basically all those are the domain experts or they are trying to learn in this domain. Okay, so we are basically speaking in front of the domain experts, okay, or the students who are trying to learn on those cases. Okay, so you are basically completely speaking on a technical angle, but you need to understand that, like the example which I took, that for
80%.
example you are trying to launch the product for the mass level purpose, but you need to understand that biopsy is a long lasting gold standard. Okay, now, if you are planning to come up with an alternative solution to it, okay, so people should be aware of that, right?
Yes.
Because otherwise, how they will come to know? That can be, if it has the potential to generate the benefit for the common people, you should try to explain that in a lucid language to the general people as well, so that other people can also come to know in a novice language, if we can say that, okay, there can be an app, okay, so that app also can detect the skin cancer, okay, apart which can be a very good option and cheaper option in comparison to the biopsy, because nowadays we all have the handle based devices, right?
Yes.
And all people are going through these reels in Instagram, or for example the videos in YouTube. Okay, so it's a very good lucrative opportunity to pass your message, thought process to those audiences, so that they can remain updated about what are the technical things are happening in a non-technical way. Okay, but they know, okay, these are the app, how this app is working. If they do not know, it's fine, but they can gain the benefit out of it, what I am trying to say.
Yes.
Okay, because it is not their domain, right? But at least they can understand, okay, app will be there, it can do the scanning, and if I pay rupees 10 to 100, okay, still it is thousands times cheaper than biopsy. It can give me the report within 2 minutes. So that type of the awareness you need to create, and that's why not only speaking but also through writing you can do that.
Yes.
So newspapers, okay, like you mentioned about the Anand Bazar Patrika, or for example other newspapers or other magazines, which also can create that type of the awareness among the people around the world. So that's why it is very much important, apart from your routine research, whatever you are doing in the lab.
So you mentioned that a particular person, if he is doing research, it is equally important in this era that you give a product to the masses, and for that,
Yeah, absolutely.
for that you have to speak to the masses, build confidence in them for to use their to use your product. And you also mentioned that social media is a really good platform through which you can create awareness.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Looking 5 years ahead, what do you think you will be doing? Where you will be heading towards? And also, can you please give advice to two different scenario, two different person? A person who wants to go to industry using his AI/ML skills, and a person who wants to do research in AI/ML, artificial intelligence, and machine learning.
Okay, so let me answer your second question first, then I will go back to the first question. So try to understand that, for example, those who are planning to go for the job, it depends upon after if you are completing, for example, your PhD, and if you are planning to go to the industry as an industrial scientist. So in that case, you have to always keep it in mind that apart from your research skill, some sort of the if you know the softwares, that might help you a lot. If it is for example, if you are going for the coding related jobs, like you need to know the Python programming very well, because whether you are talking about Keras, TensorFlow, or the PyTorch, they all are Pythonic. Okay, and interestingly, let me tell you another thing, that those who are from the economics background or for the statistics background, in generally they prefer R programming. Okay, because R also has an extensively data analytics libraries and all those things within it, which you can explore. So people from the mathematics, statistics, economics, they explore R programming as well. But in generally in industry, if you know Python, it will give you a huge benefit. Okay, and this type of the skills, if a PhD student have, and if they are going to the industry, they can easily excel in those area. Okay, so they can they can make the patents, because in industry there are a lot of demands of the patents nowadays. Okay, so in this area, because you see, if you can show this is a system based products, so you can take the Indian patent also, because Indian patent can't be granted on the basis of the algorithm,
Okay.
but it is attached with some hardware, or it comprises the system. Then you can get the Indian patent apart from the US patent. What I want to highlight, and the other part is that apart from the research scientist, there is another part is that if the candidate is very much interested in teaching, or that type kind of the thing, so that is also doable if they are planning to apply in top premier institutes, and he or she has the very good publication, so he or she can do that. And my personal choice, if you ask, that I am already 35 years old, and before my PhD, I came to PhD here at around August 2022. So before that, I had 7-8 years of the job experiences. So after my masters actually. So already I'm 35. So uh, I passed my almost 40 to 50% of my life. So remaining part, actually, I want to pursue my own, as per my own research plans, because I had certain plans in my mind. I told you that through my research, I want to generate certain low cost based products, not limited to the healthcare domain, but certain low cost based product which can benefit common people.
It is truly inspiring that you are focusing on the bottom 80% of the pyramid and you want to give something to the society. It is really great. This conversation as a whole was really great and we learned a lot of different things. We hope that other audience that are listening, they must benefit from this conversation. And we, the team of students branding and relations cell, we thank a lot to you to take the time out to give this spotlight session. Thanks a lot.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much for the invitation. Thank you.